Okay, so I don't see a reason to sit here for 2 minutes, so I'll just go early. Hi, everybody. Today's been a frickin' day, let me tell you. Yeah, got my Penny over here, my Duke over there, my Callie over there. Penny's here, Duke's over there. We are in a really crappy time right now. Comics, I'm sorry you're dealing with that. That damn tooth. Sore tooth sucks. And Pen, relax. She hates flagpoles. I need to put this up more, I think, so you can actually see the Air Force part. Yep. I'll figure it out later. Put a stand or something or whatever. I don't know. Allergies are still kicking my ass, as probably they are for everybody. Got my little buddy and his ball. I'm going to have him in there every time I go live so that not put my hands on the desk. So I'm glad to see all of you. I'm glad to see all of you. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Papa, Chill Rock, Comics, Wolf, Papa, yeah, Papa. Die. There's my Die right there. And there's my Mel. Hey, Mel. Oh, boy. Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Mel took a Benadryl. She's going to fall asleep on us. Ugh, my nose, dude. It's just... Yikes. I'm going to try not to do that in the mic anymore. Oh, cool. Chill Rock, that is so awesome. Did you take any... Is there any pictures posted in your Discord so I can see? I love prom dresses and freaking wedding dresses and all kinds of dressy stuff. I don't wear them, but I like to look at them. Got my water, though. All right, so if Mel goes quiet, she fell asleep. I've got two things for today that I'm gonna do. Hold on. Dog fur. I've got two things. One is Brandon Hart, his song Neighbours. And just to let y'all know, I don't know if Topper, hello. I don't know if all of y'all know, but Brandon Hart has an online concert he's doing this Saturday that I have tickets to, and I don't know if he's sold out on that. I think he might be, but if you look for him on Facebook, or I am Brandon Hart, all one word, that's his .com, that's his website if you're interested in going and seeing his concert. They're always awesome. He does his weekly Wednesday coffees on he does like a Facebook Live, I guess. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna jump right into this because let's see. Now we get to see that crazy ass thing. Ooh, buddy. Oh, no. Don't you play. All right, so this is the first thing that we're gonna listen to today. Queenie, hey lady, how are ya? I like this song, and the reason why I wanted to do it is because I was thinking about it earlier this week, and then not long after what happened with this week, sorry, collarbone still busted. It's always gonna be busted. I can't do anything about it, by the way. I had been thinking about Neighbours and about how mine are non-existent now, that the older lady that lived next door, she's elderly, she was 88, her son harped on her to move, so, because she fell. So she's somewhere that she hates. And the new neighbor, met her once. Dog muzzle punched me right in the chin because I was down on one knee and got knocked on my ass. But then I was thinking about, and then everything that happened in Texas. Well, I'm not gonna talk about it yet. Feces book? Die, really? Oh, jeez, that's great. I'm gonna remember that one. Can I use it, or is it copyrighted? Because of what happened in Texas. This is even more poignant now, I think, because that's a very small town, and everybody knows everybody, and yeah.
What happened to being nice without reason, man? All I see on TV and the paper stands is the lies that they feed to keep the upper hand. And we starving for truth, so we biting in. Okay, you know what happened to it takes a whole village.
Right there. What happened to it takes a whole village. How could this have happened? Turns out the guy just walked right in to an open door. Just because you have a small community, they're not going to leave doors open anymore, I'm sure of that, but jeez. Thanks, Di. Fair use. Got it.
You know what happened to it takes a whole village, built on every single color, not privilege. If we all work together, we can fix this. Yeah, divided we fall, but together we in this. What happened to Neighbours? When did we start seeing each other as strangers? It's on us to change this, and they gon' know us by a light. By the end of the night, we gon' burn down London, fire in the streets of Chicago. You gon' hear us coming like thunder. There's riots on the streets and we're coming for you. Burn down LA, fire in the streets in New York City. No sleep, no slumber. There's riots on the streets and we're coming for you. Give it love just to get it back.
I hope he's gonna do this in some stuff that we haven't heard, but that whole chorus was freaking fire. All right. It's full screen. Come on.
Give it love just to get it back. We're so used to being wrong, so we feel attacked. We don't take it as a gift, but something more attached. Now we don't know how to live or forgive our past. Hey, so it's bleeding on every single thing that we have. But we leaning on these feelings whenever we sad. We figure that nothing even better will have. So we sit here feeling even more detached. I don't know about.
Do y'all catch that? Sit here feeling even more detached. Really? Hey. Bep, come here. At least she's barking in the other room. Good girl, sit. Sorry. All right, comic relief is not funny.
I don't know about you, but I can use a little room to let the light through. I can use some good times and some bright news, but this won't happen unless we learn to fight too. What happened to Neighbours? When did we start seeing each other as strangers? It's on us to change this, and they gon' know us by a light. By the end of the night, we gon' burn down London, fire in the streets of Chicago. You gon' hear us coming like thunder. There's riots on the streets and we're coming for you. Burn down LA, fire in the streets in New York City. No sleep, no slumber. There's riots on the streets and we're coming for you.
Turn off your radio. Shut off your TV. Put down your phone and open your eyes.
All right, I kind of talked on that, but that's a good one. Duke! All right, don't do that shit. Shh. Hold on. It's time to fight for one another and not against one another. Not against one another. Could you stop screaming? Could you stop screaming, Mimi? Please? Shh. You okay? All right.
Burn down London, fire in the streets of Chicago. We gon' hear us coming like thunder. There's riots on the streets and we're coming for you. Burn down LA, fire in the streets in New York City. No sleep, no slumber. There's riots on the streets and we're coming for you.
I love you too. I have to admit, those freaking socks, dude. Those socks. What are you huffing about? You shush. Alright, so I know it's going to be a black screen, but I had already been thinking about that song when everything happened, and it's just... So, Russell Brand, he seems to have been red-pilled at some point, and the way he's talking and what he says and how he says it is, I mean, it's like he's speaking for me, like he's been in my head, and he knows what I think in here, and he's just putting it out there because he can do it a lot better than I can. I can barely talk to y'all without messing up. Can you stop panting? I know it's hot in here, baby. I'm sorry. Yeah, allergies getting you too, huh, Doggo? Ducka Doggo. Yeah. Okay. So, I saw this today, and I wanted to share it with y'all because it's pretty concise and to the point. It's pretty much, there's only a couple things in here that I'm kind of iffy on, you know, the gun violence laws and all that baloney, but here.
You will be aware by now that 19 children and 2 adults were murdered in Uvalde in Texas in one of those school shooting massacres that happens in America. And the severity of them is a wrench on the hearts of everybody who encounters the information. Of course, all of us will be reaching for answers, words of condolence, political solutions, social solutions. And I feel that since we've been doing this channel, this is perhaps the most awful event that's happened, and it's been a really strange few years that we've all endured together, but there's something particularly galling about the murder of children. A story of that nature defies rational explanation. Of course, we will try to rationally understand it.
I just can't rationally understand it because the guy was a freaking Looney Tune. The kid wasn't even a guy, he was a kid. Freaking teenager.
Defies rational explanation. Of course, we will try to rationally understand it. I don't think there's any rational way to deal with what's happened in Uvalde, Texas. I don't think that you can say it's one mentally ill person or it's a result of gun laws, although it probably is the result of one mentally ill person, and tighter gun controls and restrictions of access to firearms would obviously make a difference to the number of murders in America using firearms. But why are people so attached to the idea of firearms? Is it simply that there's a powerful American gun lobby? And if there is a powerful American gun lobby, which there's no doubt that there are, what is the emotional connection that people have to firearms?
Now, here's where what he said, it's not the gun lobbies and all of that. He's British, so he doesn't know, you know, what we knew growing up and, you know, the basis of this country, and that our firearms are to protect us from the f***ing government, because those Looney Tunes are who we have to really watch out for. Just saying.
Gun lobby, which there's no doubt that there are. What is the emotional connection that people have to firearms? All of these questions perhaps can be put aside for a moment. I once heard Michael Beckwith, the American pastor and evangelical speaker of the trans-denominational agape movement, say on the occasion of Kobe Bryant's sad death, which he reported to his church. In this moment, he said, as he told his congregation, and they gasped, we have a duty to put aside our own feelings and acknowledge that there are people directly affected by this. And if we hold them now in our minds and our hearts, they will feel it, because in the final analysis, all things are non-local. We are connected to one another. I have no smart political take to make on an event as tragic as this one. I'm a father. I have children. I can't even allow myself to imagine for a moment the depth of searing grief I might feel if I was subject to a trauma such as this one.
He's right as far as a parent, and he's right on that. I've not had little kids. Mine are grown-ups. And I got them as they were just barely grown up. So, I don't know. It's just, it's unconscionable. It's freaking beyond horrible. It's beyond despicable. It's just, there are no real words to describe what this individual did. This person.
Searing grief I might feel if I was subject to a trauma such as this one. I have friends who went and worked at Sandy Hook to help the grieving parents after the last comparable massacre of this nature. What I feel about this and how this fits into the remit of what we try to talk about here on this channel, in this community, is that we are evidently living in a culture that is in decline. Yes, you could blame an individual. Yes, you can blame gun laws.
Shiloh.
Both of those things are true.
Hold on. I need to rewind that a little bit because I just saw Shiloh coming in here. You moved from the OR. He is speaking facts. That's why I mentioned the red pill. Shiloh, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling better, considering what you just said. And your new neighbors, the kind that bring veggies from their baskets in exchange for Christmas gifts. That's great. Oh, that's great. And by the way, Raz and Timo, hello. And we can talk about that at a later date because he's always been suspicious like that. What's up, Shannon? He's always been a little suspicious like that, more than his brother. And that kind of is a little bit, I don't know, something about that. It doesn't ring true for me. There's just something about it that doesn't ring true for me.
That we are evidently living in a culture that is in decline. Yes, you could blame an individual. Yes, you can blame gun laws. Both of those things are true. But do you not think that this is symptomatic of a deeper malaise?
He's not wrong. He's exactly right. It is symptomatic of a deeper sickness, malaise, sickness.
Are true. But do you not think that this is symptomatic of a deeper malaise that can't be ascribed simply to cultural and racial tensions, but something more horrific than that? That we have lost our vision of what we are as a culture, that we have lost our way individually and collectively.
Absolutely agree with you. Really? Come on, dude. That's enough, Callie. Look. Good girl, look. Shh. Hey, come here. I'm gonna throw something at you. Like a pen or something. Callie, stop it. Thank you. Shh. Anyway.
Vision of what we are as a culture, that we have lost our way individually and collectively, that we have lost our connection to nature, inner and outer, to God and to one another, that we are living in systems that prevent us from becoming who we truly are. If you have a nihilistic, empty, banal culture focused on rationalism and materialism,
Hello? 2022. There you go. That's exactly what's going on. That's why everything that he says, almost everything he's saying on this is like, he's talking from how I feel in my cranium.
nihilistic, empty, banal culture focused on rationalism and materialism, that you're just here for a short while, you live and you die. Where is the room for the sacred? What do your communities mean to you? What do you mean to yourself? This guy that did this horrific, unimaginable act to these poor, innocent children, what kind of existence did he have? What kind of trauma had he experienced? I'm certainly not seeking to justify the actions of a person that has caused so much grief. And
They can't be rationalized, but the questions that he was asking, I mean, what? Yes, DK, the world and our nation in particular is suffering from a serious social disease. You are absolutely right. I agree 100%. And it's the same thing he was saying. That's when he said malaise, that's what he was saying. And communities, the word community is thrown around so much now that it doesn't mean what it used to mean. A community was people of like mind that or people that live in a neighborhood that is a community, that, you know, it's a community. People that interact, people that are connected, not just people who are of like mind from everywhere, all across the country. And oh, it's the trans community, it's the blah blah community, the student community, the, you know, what have you. That word has been, yet another word has been morphed into something completely different than it was. And it's just
he have? What kind of trauma had he experienced? I'm certainly not seeking to justify the actions of a person that has caused so much grief. And actually, of course, I don't need to justify it because I am merely a commentator. I'm seeking to understand how a culture can generate such trauma and misery with such alarming regularity. And if something occurs consistently and you can observe it consistently occurring, the condemnation of the individual, while an understandable part of the process, is not going to lead to a solution. I would not
exactly. Granted, the kid needs to, I'm not even going to say anything about it. I'm just going to leave the kid, I'm just going to drop it. But what he just said is true. And basically, if we never do anything about this except after it happens, it's gonna keep happening. And everybody yelling about gun laws and Obama talking about freaking, while we're mourning the children, let's not forget that today's the second year of George Floyd's death. Dude, I wanted to punch my freaking I couldn't believe he said that. Scumball. Anyway, children are our most precious resource. Without the children, we've got nothing in this country. Everybody grows up, everybody dies, and without children, we all dead. There ain't nothing left. So, what the hell? Why are we not protecting them like we should be? There's something else that the modern Renaissance man, I meant to bring his video up too. But it's just a short little blurb, and something that he said was dead on. So I'm gonna see if I can find it after this.
And you can observe it consistently occurring, the condemnation of the individual, while an understandable part of the process, is not going to lead to a solution. I would not be so glib as to offer a practical solution, but if you live in a world where open debate and communication and transparency are lost, marginalized and maligned, people that are mentally ill and...
Exactly how Elon Musk put it. Twitter is the digital town square, and for keep your fur on your body, Pen. It's just, it's finally, sorry, I hit the table. It's finally coming to a point where it might not be as regimented if the deal goes through. It's still out there, but nobody talks to each other anymore. And if they do, and then they disagree, it's instantly, you're this, you're that, and they drop it and walk away. And nobody actually engages in conversation. Now, we do. I mean, yeah, we do. But I'm speaking generally that people don't talk to each other anymore. And I heard it. Hey, that's enough. That's enough. Shh. Neighbors home next door. Hey. Oh. Shh. Come here. Come here. Pen. You wagging your tail on the wall? Come here. Callie, that's enough. Come here, sweet girl. Come here. Big yawn. Okay. People need to talk to each other again. People need to not be jackasses. It's the long and the short of it.
So glib as to offer a practical solution, but if you live in a world where open debate and communication and transparency are lost, marginalised and maligned, people that are mentally ill and suffering and considering transgressive, egregious acts such as this one, acts of unimaginable horror, have nowhere to go but the most extreme places. If we have a culture where open communication is the norm, it will be less likely, perhaps considerably less likely, that people get all the way to action on something as extreme and malignant as this.
DK, you're right. Some people don't think about the future till the future is in the past and the world is burned around them and they're still standing in the ash. You're exactly right. A lot of people are like that. Shoot, I was like that for a while until I basically woke the fuck up. Sorry, Raz. I got a new chair coming Sunday. Thank God. This thing is old and freaking hurts. There's just too much going wrong in the world. And this was a low income farming community. So I don't think it was coached, as somebody said.
Get all the way to action on something as extreme and malignant as this. Neither, might I add, is postulating on the nature of regulations around firearms, although of course less firearms, less murder from firearms seems like a pretty simple piece of arithmetic.
Yes, but less firearms, meaning get them out of the hands of the scumballs that are selling them behind the scenes and criminally. Don't punish the good citizens that are responsible gun owners. Don't screw with us because of that. It's not our fault. Something else needs to be done.
I would invite you to contemplate the question, why is there so much fear? Why is there so much anxiety? Why is there so much suffering? This happened in an impoverished community, a community of 16,000 people, many of whom are living in conditions of poverty. I think we have to look at the way we organise society. I think that when you have centralised elite institutions that issue doctrine and dictates without necessarily being affected by the results of the decisions they make, it creates a kind of maddening, desperate society. This is symptomatic of a deeper malaise, horrific though it is. For me, it thematically fits in with the general breakdown of our society, with the ongoing conflict and conflagration. I don't think we should be looking to blame any individual or group for this horrific event. I think we should turn our attention to healing. On both sides of the cultural argument at the moment, people are full of sturm and drang and fury and condemnation. These people are to blame. These people are to blame. We're all participating in this society. One way or another, we've made our way here together. When considering the death of a child and what it must feel like to go through that, I know there'll be people watching this now that have lost a child, perhaps not in such dramatic circumstances, but with the same result, that you have to live life now having lost a child. I know that there are people watching because we interact with you on this channel and we read the comments and we know that you are enduring all sorts of horror. When you lose a child as an individual, it's understood that you have to go deep within yourself and find a way around that grief and agony. When we lose children as a culture, this is a time for reflection and circumspection. This is not a time for certainty. This is not a time for, we need to do this, we need to do that, these people need to shut down.
He's exactly right. And that's exactly what is going on. And people using this as they're stepping over the bodies of these children to start trying to get their political whatever from it. Just stop. Just stop. And he's right. And we all need to just, I wish we could go back to the way it was before. Late 80s, early 90s, roundabouts there. It was not bad. Just saying.
Not a time for certainty. This is not a time for
Yes, comics. That's not exactly what he was saying, but yeah. Everybody should fully blame the person who walked into the school with evil on his mind and evil intentions. Absolutely. No question. I don't think that's what he meant. I think he was rolling it back into a generalization kind of thing. And because you know how social media is now, you have to be really careful with what you say because you might piss somebody off. And then you'll get canceled.
In yourself and find a way around that grief and agony. When we lose children as a culture, this is a time for reflection and circumspection. This is not a time for certainty. This is not a time for, we need to do this, we need to do that, these people need to shut down. It's certainly not a time for political point scoring. It's a time for huge review. My invitation to myself, to you, to all of us is, how can we now, right now, today, be more...
She made me jump. Hey! She made me jump that I hit the pause button. I hit the space bar. You're a stinker! Freaking comic relief. I'm gonna tie that comic relief up outside. Hey! Yeah, I know, Duke. I heard that sigh. Comics, I want to, with something else you said, we need to get to the underlying issue. You're exactly right. And we do need to put the family together again. We need that nuclear family. We need the way it was. We need it to be the way it was. We need the men there. We need the parents there instilling the values and the morals and whatever was going on with this. And DK, you're exactly right too. Politicizing tragedy, it is sickening. It's sickening to me too. And it does more than angers me, but we've got little ears that might be hearing from Raz and Timo, so I'm going to not say what I really think, but you guys know me well enough to know what I probably would say.
To you, to all of us, is how can we now, right now, today, be more compassionate and loving to every single person we meet? I'm not naive. I'm not foolish. I know there's such a thing as people that have bad motives. I've been alive in the world for a while now. But what I also recognize is that it's incumbent upon us as individuals to awaken our higher nature, to treat people with kindness for so many reasons. We don't know what they've been through, and we don't know what we're going to go through, and we don't know how this ends. All of us are sharing this planet for a finite time. All of us have a duty to awaken to who we truly are. All of us have a duty to create communities that are a reflection of our higher values. If we live in a society that is built essentially on fear and greed and suspicion and doubt,
which is what it is right now. Ding, ding, ding. Queenie, you're exactly right. yay for the female empowerment and all that, but there needs to be a father in the home. There needs to be. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That needs to happen. Period. And God willing, that father that's in that home was raised right and is a moral, solid guy that can get the job done. The malaise that he was talking about, the sickness in this country, the sickness in this greed and everything's for what's the word? Greed for things as opposed to just loving life, loving what you got, and going with it. Why does it have to be the rat race, for example? Why does it have to be the rat race in the first place? Everything has built up and built up and built up to the point where everything is so tightly wound that one thing goes wrong, the spring just flings out, whips around, and decapitates anybody that's in within standing distance of it. That's the mental picture that I have of the way things are right now. Just take yourself a piece of metal, not a slinky. Those are precious. Don't mess with the slinky. But something similar, and twist it up and twist it up and twist it up and twist it up until it's so tight that when you let it go, you better run, because that shit's gonna decapitate your ass. That's the way this country feels to me right now. That's the way it feels.
And I'm not talking about the poorest people in society. I'm talking about the most powerful people in society. How is your nation governed? What are the economic principles that determine the life of the majority of people? Where is the compassion? Where is the goodwill? Where is the good-natured, good faith approach to one another? Of course, whenever you talk about significantly altering society, people point to its impossibility. This is the best of all possible versions. This is the best system we could come up with. But we've seen in the pandemic that you can radically alter society over.
The pandemic shows that things can be changed really damn quick, depending on who does the changing. Just saying.
In society, people point to its impossibility. This is the best of all possible versions. This is the best system we could come up with. But we've seen in the pandemic that you can radically alter society overnight when there is a germ threat or when there is a terror threat. Well, I say now we live under constant threat. We live under a psychic threat, a kind of horror, a bio-horror of existence, where a significant number of people are living lives of absolute desperation. And the consequence of that is once in a while, someone emerges and does something so ugly, so unimaginable, so cruel and so ghastly that we're forced as a culture to look at the event and to look at ourselves. I would reiterate the
only thing is that nowadays, I don't think that is going to happen. I don't think that people are going to stop and reflect and look at themselves. The way the country is now, and the way it is now, it seems that everybody's going to look, they're going to turn it on the outside, and they're going to point fingers, and they're going to say, oh, well, this is your fault. This is your fault. This is your fault. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Cliche, but true. There's no such thing as an assault rifle, or any kind of assault weapon. Anything you use as a weapon is an assault weapon. I stab you with a pencil. That's an assault weapon. Golly, people. I'm trying not to get too frustrated. Sorry.
As a culture to look at the event and to look at ourselves. I would reiterate the advice of the great pastor and teacher.
Yes, Raz, exactly. Fear and panic work faster than hope and hard work. And hard work seems to be non-existent in this culture now, in this country. Hard work used to be the thing that you did. Hard work was it. That's what you did. When I grew up and I was growing up, hard work. You had to work hard. Now, everybody wants everything for free. Don't want to work for it. Give it to me for free. Oh, we had a pandemic. I'm not going to work. I'm making more on unemployment than I am working. It's the garbage that rolls downhill from DC that yes, comics. A society that gives up its freedoms for security will lose both and deserves neither. I cannot remember who said that. Who said that quote? It's a paraphrase. That's a paraphrase, but I know I've heard it.
Michael Beckwith and say, this is an opportunity for reflection for all of us. This is a time for us to look at those directly affected and to consider those that will be affected again in the future if the world doesn't change. For me, the gun law aspect of this and the firearm stuff of this, I'm sure there are many, many opinions on that. But I think we have a deeper conversation. Why do people want guns? Why are people so afraid? Why are people so desperate? Why have we created a culture with so much inequality and so much suffering and so much desperation where the sacred has been neglected to the degree where consistently, relatively regularly, there emerges a loner, an individual, but they're not loners and individuals anymore, are they? Because over time, it's a group, it's a phenomena, it's a thing that keeps happening. They're an expression of a deeper pain. There is more to reality than what we can see, hear, and measure. We know that in this moment, don't we? Because we are experiencing a deep collective pain. Nothing compared to the people that are directly affected, but a cultural pain nonetheless. What is that pain and what lesson is that pain trying to bring us? Awaken, change, address.
Oi! Hey, bad timing. Hush. Ah! Callie. Shh. Hey. Thank you. It works most of the time. I heard the door shut. Just relax. Relax. There's never been a vehicle next door either. So this is new all the way around.
Are directly affected, but a cultural pain nonetheless. What is that pain and what lesson is that pain trying to bring us? Awaken, change, address this collaboratively, collectively. Let's look at our individual lives, our collective lives, our communities, our economic structures, our international relationships, our priorities, the way we treat each other when we buy a cup of coffee, the way we talk to our children, the way we talk to people we disagree with, our social media climate. Everything has to be reviewed, and you can only do that if you start with yourself. I am fortunate that I've lived a life where I've made many, many mistakes and I've been given many second chances. And where I sit now is a place of humility and uncertainty and doubt. The only things I feel sure of is on a daily basis, it's my duty to look at how I can improve myself, to look at how I can be of service to others, and to look at how I can be a contributor to the common good. I think we can change our individual lives. I believe we can change our collective lives. And I think we should do this in a spirit of gentle complicity, not certainty and rage.
Certainty and rage is what is running everything right now. Somebody up top is always certain that they're right and they're going to get what they're going to get. And the rage, all of us, raging at the uppers and waiting for that crap to roll downhill. Damn, Raz, that's messed up. Comics, you're right. Our nation needs a collective moment in which we all find a higher power. I'm going to be honest. The way this country rallied when 9/11 happened was amazing. Now, yes, I understand. There were always the jackasses that had to be stupid and take it too far, and I'm not even going to give them any talk. I'm not even going to give them any time. But We need something to unite us again. Something, but not something, I'm not saying to go blow up a damn building. Hell no. I'm just saying we need something to unite us again. And I just hope this time that it's not something that is tragic and horrible like 9/11 was, or worse. I hope it's not that. I really do. I hope it's not that. But it needs to happen. We need to come together. Everybody, instead of being like this, the entire freaking country is like, everybody's out for themselves. Generally speaking, not everybody's like that. I'm aware. I've been around for 48 years. I know how it works. But still.
Do this in a spirit of gentle complicity, not certainty and rage, not looking to amplify this cause or amplify that cause or condemn this group of people or hate on that group of people, because this, above all else, is a horrific, sad, traumatic event. And
yes, I need to roll that back so we can hear what he said again, because that's 100%. Oh, Shiloh, don't even joke like that. God. If they try and pull that crap over, Duke, if they try and pull that crap with this monkeypox, no. DK, for those of you who have never made mistakes in life, rest assured that he's made enough for the whole damn lot of us. I've got quite a few under my belt too. I can throw them into the pot and we can just pass them out.
Complicity, not certainty and rage, not looking to amplify this cause or amplify that cause or condemn this group of people or hate on that group of people, because this, above all else, is a horrific, sad, traumatic event. And as a result of it, right now, there are people in unimaginable pain. Perhaps before this happens again, because it will happen again, we can review the way we organise our society. We can review the way we organise our community. If your personal certainty is this is about gun regulation, then perhaps you can consider how you would create a society where people weren't so suspicious of authority that clinging to a gun was the best thing they felt they could do for their personal freedom. If you think that you should...
Now, the way he categorized that, the way he explained that, I don't think it's that exactly. But suspicion, distrust of authority, of the government, he is right on that. Because they've given us no reason to trust. And not even going to get into the whole disinformation and all this other shit that gets spewed by talking heads here, there, and everywhere. It's just... something's got to change, but how are we going to do it? I don't know how we can do it. Trust me, if I knew... Sorry. If I knew, I'd be yelling it from the top of Pikes Peak.
You would create a society where people weren't so suspicious of authority that clinging to a gun was the best thing they felt they could do for their personal freedom. If you think that you should keep hold of your firearms, then perhaps you can be open to new ways that this could be regulated so events like this don't happen again. There is no point right now in doubling down on what you already believe. This is something that has to be approached with an open mind and an open heart.
And of course, because it needs to be approached, as he said, with an open mind and an open heart, it ain't gonna happen, because nobody that has any kind of pull or power or anything like that in Washington or anywhere in this United States that has any kind of possibility of being able to get that done will do that, because it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about what can I get? How will this benefit me? How can I do this so that it benefits me? And that's the mentality. And that's why I agree with him, but that's why I don't think it's going to happen. Because, and I mean, I don't think it's going to happen ever. Because to break that greed and that all about me mindset, I can't think of one thing that could possibly be done to break that effing mindset. And it's just, I'm not going to say it.
Happen again.
Cuss
There
words.
is
No
no
cuss words.
point right now in doubling down on what you already believe. This is something that has to be approached with an open mind and an open heart, and where we must individually question, what can we do to make the world better? Because, you know the truth, there's nothing we can do right now for those parents. Nothing. So we have to look at the context in which these events occurred and recognize that these things are no longer anomalies. This conflagration, this continually stoked pain, the way we talk to one another, the way we type out messages, the way that we hate on one another on our phones in private malice, that you can let go of. We can start to create a better environment, a better context, a more just and fair world where events like this don't happen anymore, because less and less people feel aggrieved and alone and full of hate. I'm not seeking to justify the actions of the person that done this. There ain't no justification. I'm seeking to be a part of a conversation with you and part of a process with you that might lead to a fairer, more open and transparent world where we aren't intransigently stuck to systems and ideas that evidently do not serve us and that lead to this kind of imaginable grief.
And this is all utopia, what he's talking about. But there's just too many. I don't want to think this, but I can't help it and think that there's just too many pieces. And remember that whole wound tight thing that I was talking about, that you need to beware of because it'll decapitate your ass the minute you let it go? There's too much of that out there for different reasons, but there's also too much. All right, so it's the me thing. There's too much of that. And there's too much of the minority outlier, the outlier things that aren't common, that have too big of a voice, that are overwhelming other voices that are voices of sanity. And I don't know how I would do it. And Raz, I hope that that's not what it is. You know, Timo says that the only thing that'll force the reset is a societal collapse, but we can't have, no thank you. There's got to be a different way. We can't just have it all of a sudden just completely 100% just everything's just done. Because God tried that. That's why we have rainbows, because he tried to wash it away and it didn't work. So he made the rainbow as a promise that he was never going to do it again. Damn, Shiloh. I know somebody like that too.
Right now, like anybody that has a voice, I'll be thinking of and praying for the people directly suffered. And I'll be addressing my own conduct today and thinking, how can I make the lives of every person I encounter a little better, knowing that I will fail because I'm a human being, but knowing that our aim together is to find and build better communities and a fairer world and a better society. Let me know in the comments below how you think we should move forward.
See, I agree with him on the things that he said. However, there's a lot that won't. It's going to take more. It's going to take more than just. Oops, wrong one. It's going to take more than just talking. It's going to take more than just. It's going to take a lot more than I think we have. right now. Everything is too Papa. It's not gonna flood. Next is fire. I'm not real. Let's not with the fire, okay? Let's not. Oh, Raz, I'm not even gonna touch that one. There's a lot that's going on that needs to be fixed. Yes. That has been the way of life since forever. That things have been wrong and need to be fixed. And we have to fix it on the fly. It's just the fixing on the fly hasn't worked for decades. So we need to stop. Not with societal collapse. Don't say that again. But we need to stop somehow. Collect ourselves, and there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way for us to do it. Oh God, King Timo and comics, the Prime Minister. You guys really want to make me have nightmares? Come on now. I don't want my kid to be king. Please no. There's got to be something more. There's got to be something more that can be done. It's just that the method is going to have to be something that, hasn't been tried because it hasn't worked for decades. So why are we going to try and do the same old thing again? There has to be something else. And we can't have talking heads and morally corrupt jackasses out there saying things like comparing this horrific thing that happened to something that, yes, was wrong and never should have happened. I'm still really pissed about what Obama said. I am so effing pissed about that. It's just disgusting. Disgusting. DK, you and me both, baby. This is one of those times where probably people would be sitting and feeling just completely helpless because we can't do anything for those people. Those kids we're not going to be able to bring those kids back. And they're not going to be able to get any retribution or justice or whatever you want to call it, because there was law enforcement, border patrol there that took that bastard out before he could kill anybody else while he was doing it, because the guy that shot him, he got shot too. So yeah, I just wish it could get back to the way it was, where we all were a community in the real sense of a community, not this stupidity that it is now. Because this is stupidity. That is not a community. That is more of a clique. And a clique that is the Mean Girls clique type thing. You got your little clique, and then that little clique looks down on everybody else around it. That's the way it is. That's the way it is right now. And it's gotta stop. But I hope there's another way for it to stop other than Timo's version, or Timo's what he said about societal collapse. We really don't need that. No, I'd rather not. And Shiloh, I agree. If there was no sin, but that'll never happen. So that's a pipe dream. And there's just so much Hey, boo. There's just so much that is wrong that the stuff that is right is buried. You gotta dig for it to find the things that are right in the world, it seems to me. And it's not. It is not cool. It's not cool, and I hate it. Communism is made by engineers, and the mechanics are constantly telling them it won't work. But like a good little engineer, they'll never listen. Raz, you're a nutball. Oh, all I know, y'all, is that there's just too much. There's too much going wrong. There's too much going wrong. When I was growing up, I don't remember there being this much going wrong. I don't. Comics, you're exactly right. There can never be, if you want total peace on Earth, you'll have to annihilate all life. Pretty much. You're not wrong. And you're right, DK, we are on a slippery slope as a nation. But what can we do? That hasn't, I mean, it's like we're stuck in this rut of a loop that it's just the same thing over and over and over again, and it keeps happening. It wasn't like this when I was growing up, and I don't know what it was that was the trigger to cause it to be the way it is now. Hey. Stop it. That's not gonna work. There's got to be a way, but we're not gonna find it. We're not gonna find it tonight. That's for sure. And I agree, Callie. I don't know if y'all heard that. There's got to be something that can be done, but it's got to be something different than the stupid old rut that we've been spinning around in for decades. Like 3 decades. 1.5, 2, something like that. It's been pretty shitty, and sorry, but exactly, Queenie. It's never been this bad, and I don't know that it's always going to increase to be worse, because there's no way that I see of bringing it back to, rein it in, bringing it back, reining it in, so that it's not consistently getting worse and worse and worse. Because I agree, comics. It was a slow and steady indoctrination of our children. You're right. Yeah, all us old farts, we've never seen it this bad. It's not been this bad, not since we were growing up. But we're also the old farts that nobody wants to listen to us because we're the old farts. Or the boomers, or, what have you. Everybody's got a little bit of a, what is that? The word is right here. Whatever. That little, hey, not in here. Shush. No. Shh. Hey, come here. Hey. Shush. But anyway, yeah, you're right, comics. It happened. Hey, Derek. We were talking, Derek. We first started out with what I had been planning on was reacting to Brandon Hart's Neighbours, and then after I had decided that that's what I was going to do today, the horrific events that happened in Texas. So it's been that, and they're kind of put together, and we just kind of went over all that. But I'm glad you made it, dude. I've not seen you in a bit. Been wondering where you were at. DK, you right? When government and schools hijack the education that should have been handled in the home. Yes. There's too much that, generally speaking, there's too much that is... Damn, comics. You remember cleaning pheasants out back of the school with your 12 gauge in the gun rack of your truck. Now that's pretty damn country. I like it. It's I had a really, Shiloh, really? I had an A turd moment. I'm gonna need you to explain that to me because I'm not. See? I hear you. Yes, I know. The doggy alarm for the "you've been on long enough" is going off. He's standing in the door like, can I go outside? Oh, here comes the whining. What? Come here, eyebrows. He's got these great eyebrows. Come here. Come here. There's got to be what he said. There's got to be a come to, that people say, oh, there's got to be a come to Jesus moment. Well, how's about just having a, excuse you? You can wait. I'm not done. You can wait. Come here. Your timer's off. Come here. Don't look at me like that. Come on. Thank you. I don't know if you guys can hear those big feet hitting the floor, but... Oh, and you're panting in the mic. Shh, 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 shh. Yes, thank you, kisses. All right, well... Maybe, yeah, Raz... Oh, hey, take it easy with the lick in the hand. Raz... Part of the problem is we can't give our kids certain responsibilities because we can't trust the people around them not to kidnap or mug them. You are right. There's just so much evil and so much things that are wrong on so many levels that there isn't going to be a way that I or anybody else probably could think of to fix things. Except maybe with a time machine. Go back and figure out what the hell went wrong, fix it, make it go away, and I don't know, Dirt, a decent human quality check? I don't know, man. There's going to be people who are like, well, I'm a decent human, but they're really not. There's no truth anymore, really. It's easy. I could see his panting on the... Easy. That's a boy. Good job. No, I don't have an ice cube. No ice cube. I go to get ice, and he... Oh, I'm not saying that, Derek. I'm not saying there's no hope. But... Yes. Oh, Awaken with JP. I love that guy. I've got one of his shirts that I bought, but an extra large. It's more like an extra large child. You really gonna stand down there panting in the microphone, huh? Huh? You gonna stand down there and panting? There's a lot. You're right, Mel. And now that we're saying that, we sound like our parents, our grandparents. Everything was so much better back when we were growing up. Well, that's what they used to say, too. But I don't think it was this bad. Granted, yeah, things change, but this is insanity. It is insanity. And it's going to take something big to kick everybody off of that skipping... dating myself here, because I was just going to say off that skipping needle. Record, needle, yeah. I got to figure out a different way to say that. But to kick us out of this rut, there's got to be something big that's just going to give the country a freaking boot in the ass to wake everybody up. And I don't know what that could be. I don't know how it could happen. I definitely don't want it to be something tragic or horrific. But, Derek, I hope so. You're not an idiot. Jeez. No, but you're right. Everybody, all of us have probably come into contact with kids that are really good kids. Don't you start. Don't you start. Come here. That, you know, they're... No, you can wait. I'm not done. You're just making... You're making it take longer because I have to talk to you. Come here. Y'all, my chocolate lab just rolled his eyes at me. No joke. Excuse you? Hello, Callie. Ugh. Ew, comics. But DK's right. When people can't decide if they're men or women, male or female, where the hell does that leave us? Very valid question. And, yeah. I definitely... I'm not even gonna... Really? Really? You're gonna huff at me from that side now? You guys, he's over here now. Looking at me and huffing at me. You might have heard it. So, I might just have to go ahead and end this just because... Oh, he huffed and now he's... The thud you heard was him hitting the floor. He's throwing a fit. Are you throwing a hissy? You throwing a hissy? Huh? Yeah, it is hot in here, huh? Well, I'm going to go ahead and... Comics. Oh, if you only knew. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope that this gave you something to think about, I guess. And thank you for talking with me about it in here in the chat. And there's gonna be something's gotta happen. But preferably nothing bad. Okay? I'm kinda sick of the bad shit. Can we not do the bad crap anymore? Please? There's gotta be something that can be done. And I hate this just helpless, teeny tiny little voice that I am out here in this country. I'm just this one tiny little voice. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get to the point where it'll be bigger and I'll reach more people. I mean, that's the goal. That's the hope. But the bells have been hit. Hang on. All right, feet. I hear you. Thank you all very much for being here and for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for your support. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see everybody next Thursday. Oh, and school started again. Yay! Algebra! Boo! Hey! With the licking, dude! With the licking! Alright. On that note, I'll see you guys next week, I hope.